All right, we are live. We are live. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Hello. I'm gonna give you guys a couple of minutes to come on in here and filter on in. You know how we do. Yet another episode of Heightened and Enlightened the Live Show. Welcome in. Um, you guys, we got a serious topic tonight, so bear with me. I am by myself. Rolo will be on here shortly. He has some stuff going on, but you guys bear with me. So let me give you guys a few seconds to get in here and let me, do my do. Let me share out. So here we go. Oh, I'm gonna give you guys a couple of minutes to come on in here. Turn this down. We don't want that echo. I hope you guys have had a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I have. I've been busy getting kids back ready for school. So, yes. All right, but give me a second here, everybody. I'm gonna reshare it. And make sure that when you come on in, you say hello, um, at follow, highlight, do whatever you do to get this episode out, you guys, because this is important one. It's an important one. Y'all bear with me because those of y'all that know, my eyes are not my strong suit. So I move a little slower and a little more delayed than some people. But just work with me. You know it's all love. It's all love. And I appreciate you guys for working with me. All right. Guess we're going to get this out to everybody because I feel like a lot of us have encountered grief, or if not been through it, we're currently going through it. So, yeah, we're going to shed some light on that tonight. Just work with me, y'all. Work with me. Hold tight. Boom, boom. I got to make sure all my people get this, y'all. All of y'all. Because I want everybody to be a part of this conversation. And if you guys feel like, this would reach somebody, share us out. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I'm going to share this to my wall and then we're live. We're live. Okay. All right. So we're live. I kind of want to wait till some people come on in here before I get started. You guys, I am not the person that likes to talk to myself. I do not just talk just to hear myself talk. So, it's more fun when you got someone to talk to. So, yes, come on in, come on in. Hey, English, hey, English. Letting some people come on in here, say, hey, girl. Let me know y'all in here. And then I'm going to get started officially. Because tonight's episode is near and dear to my heart. I feel like there's a reason and a purpose that I'm doing this by myself. Because everything happens for a reason. So you guys just bear with me. I'm gonna be vulnerable with you guys tonight. But anyways, so I'm just gonna go ahead and jump on in with everything. Ooh, you guys gotta excuse me. Hi, Aunt Alva. Hey, hey, happy Sunday. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Can you guys still hear me? Because my phone is supposed to be on do not disturb, but there's some stuff going on. So can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me clear. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I'm gonna wait to see. If you guys can hear me, drop it in the comments. There we go. Okay, great. Thank you, Auntie. Thank you, Auntie. Thank you, English. Okay. Oh, and here is Ashley. Ashley
Hey,
wanted to join us
honey.
tonight. Hey, honey.
Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you great. I can hear you great.
Awesome. Awesome.
Good.
I'm on my way
So I
home. So as soon as I get there, I'll get my laptop and stuff set up. But I wanted to hop on with you.
okay. Well, yes, I'm just actually getting ready to get started with the introduction.
Oh, okay. Where's Rolo?
Rolo is going to be Rolo tonight. He's going to be late.
Okay. Cool. That
So
works.
hey, you know we're still going to figure this out. So Ashley, you actually do not know. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but tonight's topic is about grief and processing it. And we're going to talk about the stages and identifying it. But to jump on to the official introduction, hello everybody. Thank you guys for joining Heightened and Enlightened the live show. I'm Shay. Ashley hopped on with us tonight. And I'm glad to have
Hey.
her here. She's a piece of my backbone. But last week, well, not last week, because last week we had to cancel the show due to unfortunate circumstances. But the week before that, we went over the importance of education, learning techniques, and stuff about that. If you guys want to check that out, go watch the replay. You can find it on YouTube or on the Heightened Enlightened page, or even my personal page. So go check that out if you want to listen to what we talked about that week. This week, we are going to be shedding some light on grief, what grief is, the process of grief, what it looks like, because with each individual, grief is different. It looks different. So tonight we're going to be talking about that. And you guys know with everything that we talk about, we want you to feel heightened and enlightened. So I will say disclaimer, if this triggers anyone, I apologize ahead of time, but grief is something important that we all need to, what word am I looking for? We all need to understand what it is and how it works. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So, yeah, let's get into it. Okay, I had asked the question of the day a couple weeks ago. And I asked basically if you have ever heard of the 5 stages of grief. And if you have, because we're going to go over those here in a second, but if you have, oh, Ashley's going to jump back on here in a minute. But if you have, then my question was, which stage do you think can be the most difficult to overcome, to encounter? Which stage? And I will reiterate, for those of you that have not heard of the 5 stages of grief, we're going to talk about those right now. 5 stages of grief. Now, first, let me define what grief is. Textbook definition of grief. Textbook definition of grief is basically the natural emotional response to loss. And you guys know loss. So you can lose a relationship, a job, someone transitioning. There's all kind of significant losses. So you can grieve all of those. So we're going to keep that in mind as we're talking about things today. Uh-oh. Let's see what happened.
I got booted off. I'm
out.
home though. I'm going to go get myself set up.
Okay, go get set up. Okay, go get set up. Hi, Dee. Hey, Robert. I see you guys. Okay. So, I was reading up on something. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. So you guys answer that question for me. So if you have heard of the 5 stages of grief, which is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, or acceptance, which one do you think can be the hardest to overcome or to get to? Which one do you think? Drop it in the comments and let me know. You guys know we like to be interactive. And I found some really interesting things about grief. Like I say, everybody processes it different. It looks different with everyone. I've often been told that I handle grief very well, but to be honest, I don't think I do. Um, for the fact, for me, I numb up, I get busy. And sometimes that can be a good thing, but sometimes it's not because you're not facing it. It took me a while to face the losses that I experienced because I am one of those type of people to where I just stay busy, find something to do something, because I believe that an idle mind is the devil's playground. So what I do is I just make sure I fill my mind with activities and chores and, you know, all kind of things to do. So that's what I do when I feel like I'm grieving. Okay, English, you said acceptance, D, acceptance. And Alva, for you, all stages. I'm with you, ladies, there when it comes to the acceptance part, because I feel like to even get to acceptance, you have to like get through the rest of those, you know. They say these stages are different with everybody. They're not like they're not in a certain order or anything. They say they're different, but I do feel like acceptance is like one of the last stages for most people, because to really finally admit this situation, this person, whatever it was, to finally admit this is gone, that can be hard. That can be hard to really get to. It really can. And I agree, Auntie, all stages, depending on how you look at it. I will say, I feel like I'm still grieving, y'all. So y'all got to bear with me because this is a hard topic for me. And I really wasn't ready to talk about this, to be honest, because I still feel like I'm in the midst of it. Even thinking about stuff kind of brings tears to my eyes. But it's been 8 years for me, and I'm still processing a lot of stuff. Those of you that do not know, when I was 9 months pregnant, my son's father transitioned by a car accident. And now I've experienced like a lot of loss before that. I feel like my whole life I've just been losing things near and dear to me, people, friends, like a lot of stuff. I mean, I feel like my whole life has been nothing but loss, but that loss hit me different. It hit me different. It really did. Um, it the other losses, I will say, I numbed up. It's like I had been to so many funerals and repasses that for me, it was normal. Like, okay, you know, it was normal. But being so invested into someone and then you're with them and then 5 minutes later you're not, that was a different feeling for me. And it took a lot for me to process. Like, you know, when I still think about it, it makes my chest hurt. It does. It makes my chest hurt. It makes my stomach hurt. Sometimes I don't, I get to this point to where I'm just like, no, I can't do it because I encounter so much pain. But when I look at what I did with my life, it's like I took all that pain and I made it into purpose. Because yes, that hurt. I mean, that gut wrenching feeling, it definitely hurt. But for me, I thrive well in pain. Like for me, I make pain my recipe for what am I trying to say? Pain is my recipe for growth. Unfortunately, I got to go through a lot to really grow. And that is actually what helped me. Like, and I've noticed that a lot of people, they say there's no right or wrong way to grieve. But to be honest, I believe there are healthy ways and unhealthy ways to grieve. So that part, I'm kind of lost for words. I didn't think I would be going through this tonight on this topic. I didn't. I
It's a
really
hard
didn't.
topic. Grief is
It
definitely.
is.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yeah, I
okay?
can hear you.
Okay. I'm set up now. I'm to the house. Sorry, y'all.
Nope.
Just share me out to my page here. You all right?
Yeah. Just gotta take a couple breaths. I wasn't ready.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I
it's crazy
wasn't.
because we were talking about having this conversation a while ago, and I think everybody kind of kept putting the grief episode off
Yeah.
because of the feelings that come from grief. And I seen the topic. I knew what we were talking about tonight before we even started, and I knew I wanted to be a part of this because of everything that I'm going through right now, with losing Tanisha, who was baby sister, really, our whole
Yeah.
life, and not being able to properly process that. Maybe for me to get some tips from other people who might have lost somebody who was close to like a sibling or mother, father. Because girl, I don't know. I don't know right now. Usually it's just, chin up, chest out. Somebody who passes away, you chin up, chest out and keep going. But this one's been a little bit different for me. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys in the audience, I do have a question. For those of you guys that have had to deal with grief, whatever shape or form it looks like, how did you handle it? How did you handle it? What did you do to, come on the other side of that? Oh, hey, Nicole, I see you. Love you, bestie. Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. I don't know. I got tears coming to my eyes already. It's a lot because I didn't expect to have all these feelings and emotions. I didn't. But we're going to talk about it because it's healthy to get it out. And I'll be holding stuff in. So everything happens for a reason. And tonight we're going to get it out. So y'all going to get it all. So if I make y'all cry, I'm sorry. But yeah.
So, can you just give me a little recap of like what we've talked about so far with me just jumping on? I know I was kind of in and out. My internet's been acting crazy. So one minute I'm here, the next minute I'm gone. But like I said, I wanted to make sure that I was on here to support this episode. And I
Yeah.
seen my girl, and I'm like, we don't get down like that. It's never a one-man show.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure that I was on here with you to be able to go through this with you because I know it's
Well,
something that
I really didn't get off into much, just identifying the 5 stages of grief, which I did a lot of reading on this because one thing I knew that I was going to be speechless, like I was going to be jumbled. I did know that. So I tried to read as much as I could and, look at facts so I wouldn't just only talk about my experiences because that's triggering, and that's another
right.
thing dealing with grief. You have to know your triggers. You got to know your triggers. And I know mine, but, I was talking about the 5 stages as far as denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And I asked, I don't think you were on here, but I asked as far as one of my questions was, which one of those stages do you think can be the most difficult to overcome or to get to?
I think for me, it's always been the angry stage. And I think that goes back to like the previous conversations that we've had. Like, I think that it was easier for me to identify with anger with any emotion that I felt. And so, like losing my Aunt Sean, like that was the biggest loss of my life before losing Tanisha in May. And so for me, like it was easy to be angry. It was easy to be upset. It was easy to hurt. You know what I mean? And to take it out on everybody else around me. I'm really good at pushing people away and shutting down and shutting people out of my life when I'm feeling like I'm going through grief or hurt or anger. So I think for me, it's anger, hands down. And I don't think, it took me 11 years, no lie. I think the first year I actually grieved my Aunt Sean the correct way, the healthy way was on her 11-year anniversary. And I think I did it by myself. I was in Virginia, so I didn't really have anybody to go through that with. And I think that's why it was so easy for me to go ahead and grieve. But like I said, it took 11 years. And then I think I moved into that acceptance stage of her not being here to see like when I got married or, you know what I mean? Like all the major events that I knew she was going to miss or thinking about like how proud of me she would be today. Like stuff like that still goes through my mind. But then I think like losing Tanisha after losing her, it's just like, I don't even think I've been through any of the phases of grief yet with her. I think that I've
Yeah.
been so like Nicole said a little bit ago in the comments, like avoiding of the whole situation because I'm terrified to go through the steps of grief with her.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, I'm one of those people that like to rip the Band-Aid off. So I have a tendency to sit with my feelings. Um, and I feel like for me, The hardest part for me to overcome, and I still fight with this till this day, is the bargaining part. Because I still bargain with God, like, out of everything that you could do, why take this from me? And not
Yeah.
just me, from my sons. Like,
Yeah.
they needed them, you know. I can't raise men, you know what I'm saying? And I don't care. I love when a woman feels like we can do it. That is great. We can teach them how to be
You can.
gentlemen. We can show them a lot of fundamentals in life, but you cannot raise a boy to be a man, period.
No.
It is what it is. It's okay to admit that. I'm a woman that knows that. So for me, it was the bargaining. And I can admit, you know, being accountable and vulnerable right now, there's even been times to where I've bargained with God, like, you could have just took this person over here that ain't never cared and ain't never been there, but then you took this person that cared a lot. You know, like,
Yeah.
I've gotten to that stage to where it's like, why this person? You had all these other people, you know. So for me, bargaining was and still is a battle. Like, I can
Yeah.
accept it. I don't live in anger because I don't like negativity myself. So it's like, I don't live in anger. I'm not a person who lives in denial because I'm such a realist. Like, but that bargaining one right there, I still have those thoughts. Like, just why? Like, you could have did anything. I wish if I could turn back the hands of time, if I could just be different. Like, there's been so many moments of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, as my dad used to say, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, that was the hardest part to get through.
Yeah, I think the bargaining piece, like listening to you when you were talking just now, like I feel like the bargaining piece has a lot to do with anger too. Like I think it's being angry with God in a sense. Like if you're a believer, y'all, I want to say this right now, it's
Yeah.
okay to be angry and to question God. I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah.
Because, you know, not too long ago, when me and Lloyd lost the baby, you know, I went through a really, really dark time in my life. And I think that was probably like it hit me like out of nowhere. I didn't think that was gonna hit me like that because the baby was still young. You know what I mean? Like the baby wasn't even developing yet. And I didn't think it was gonna hit me the way it did. But I'm telling you, like that took me into a really dark place too. And I was
Yeah.
bargaining with God too. Like, why would you, let me hear my baby's heartbeat for the first time to take it away from me? Like, as bad as me and my husband want this, like, why would you allow that to happen? Like, you should have just took it. You know what I mean? Because as soon as you hear that heartbeat, your motherly instincts kick in, and it's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna do everything I can to protect this child because it's a part of me. And I think like, why would he allow me to go through that? You know what I mean? And so I had a lot of questions for God, and I really went into a dark place where I was telling my husband, like, I don't want to be a wife anymore. I don't want to do this. Like, I didn't get out of bed. I wouldn't go to work. I wouldn't do anything because I didn't want to do life. Right then in that
Yeah.
very second, I wanted to lay in my grief because that grief hit me instantly. To
Yeah.
where like
Yeah.
I said, Tanisha, it's like something I just can't do. And I've never in
Yeah.
my life felt like I feel right now about grieving anybody. Like I just can't allow myself to do that. I can't allow myself to grieve her because I know that if I allow I don't know, but I feel like if I allow myself to grieve her, then I might not come out of that. Like I might not, I know I will, but like I might not get up fast enough. You know what I mean? Like I might
Fear.
lay
I
there
mean,
for
that's
too
so
long.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something real. That's a real fear that I feel like we also got to talk about more often too, you know. And that is the avoidance that a lot of us go through because stuff hurts too bad and we don't want to deal with it, you know. And seeing for me, I can admit I am that person, and Ashley, you know this personally, but I'm that person that encourages people to feel it. Like, I know it hurts, I know it, you know, but you got to, because to be honest, like I told y'all before, I'm that person that just will rip the band-aid, rip the scab. I'm gonna just go through the pain. So with that, I went through that, and I know what it feels like on the other side. So it's like I have to tell somebody, like, I know it hurts, but you gotta find a way to feel it. You know what I'm saying? Because as you're going through that storm, it don't feel good. You like I said, your heart hurts, your stomach hurts, you feels like your throat is in your chest. Like um there's so many physical symptoms that you experience as you're going through this. But when you get on that other side of it, it's like, each time you have it, it's not as bad as the time before, because it's
Yeah.
been 8 years for me with Big Damien. Because Prince is 8, so it's been 8 years for me with Big Damien, and I still have those moments. And I mean, I still have those moments to where my chest gets so tight I can't breathe, and I just drop down and I start praying. But every moment that I have, and this is my opinion, it's not as bad as it was when I was having them the first week, first day, first month, first year, like all those first, it's not as bad. And now
Yeah.
I can feel it. When I feel it coming on, I don't care where I'm at. I can be at work, I can be out with the girls. If I feel that feeling coming in my chest, I'm going to go wherever I need to go to seclude myself. I'm going to bust out in them tears. If I got to drop down to my knees and start praying, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get through that. And there's been a lot of times where I've just wiped my face and went back to doing what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and like I say, for me, that is healing. For me, that's very healing. And I wish that I could just give this to everybody. Like, I wish everybody could feel the way that I feel after we get on the other side of it, But I know everyone's different.
Yeah.
Oh, did you put that on stage? Okay, D's comment.
Yeah. It says,
We
when
got
I
a
have
lot of
losses,
comments. We can go through those.
I can read it right now. It says, when I have losses before, I try to heal myself with drugs. Now I'm sober. It's a different healing. I feel the pain.
Yeah.
Yes, I blame God for my miscarriage. Like, why me? What I do? I thought I was doing good in life, but most of the time I try to tell myself maybe God knew I couldn't handle it and go through details. Then on other days it's back to questioning God again. I don't want to feel this way, but I do. And D, I'm glad that you bring that up, because I feel like so when I tell you that my Aunt Sean hit me for the first time on her 11th year anniversary, her 11th year anniversary was the first time that I was actually sober from everything. I wasn't smoking green no more. I wasn't drinking anymore. I wasn't doing any street activities. I wasn't doing anything anymore. So that was the first year since she had passed away that I really had time to understand, fully sober minded, that she wasn't coming back, and that she was gone. And so for me, and it does hit different, you know. It does hit different. I do have a question though, and it's been on my spirit to ask, since we've been talking about grief right now, because a lot of people told me. So for those of you guys who don't know, like I keep mentioning Tanisha. Tanisha was somebody that was very close to me. She was like my baby sister. We were best friends, but she's my little sister. Okay, blood family. Like, she got sick in November. She was 36 years old. She got sick in November. February, they told her that she wasn't going to make it. And then May, she was gone. They brought her home on hospice in March, and then in May, she was gone. And so, I heard a lot through that process, because I left from my house in Texas to go to Kansas to take care of her. I heard a lot through that process that at least you got to say bye. Like, at least you got to say what you needed to say. At least you got to, like, tell her that you love her and spend these last days with her. And that should make it easier. But I'm telling you, like, those being the last moments with her, and knowing, like, watching my baby deteriorate from who she was to who she was when she passed away. Like, I think that was worse than, the phone call that I got when my aunt passed away. Because when my aunt passed away and my grandma passed away, like, it was just a phone call, like, hey, they didn't make it. My grandma was in a car accident on the way home from Minnesota. Hey, she was in a car accident. She didn't make it. You know what I mean? My Aunt Sean passed away from an aneurysm and she didn't make it. So my question is, like, do you think that it's easier to process grief if you have those chances to say goodbye? Or do you think it's easier, like, if it was just a phone call and, like, hey, they're gone? It's like reality hits you instantly, to where, like, walking into the hospice house and seeing her laying in the bed gone, like, I still didn't believe it, because she was so sickly. Like, she just looked like her when she was sick, not understanding that she's really gone. And I think it really hasn't hit me. Like, and I think that's why, because I still don't understand.
I don't think neither one of those are easier than the other. Because, and this is why I say what I say, because on one hand, I've witnessed both with people I love. And on one hand, the person that they say you get to say goodbye to, you're watching them. Like you just said, Ashley, you're watching them go from here to hear. And that is not easy. That's not easy to watch when you know how vibrant and youthful and funny and spunky somebody used to be. That's not easy. And then on the other spectrum, those phone calls are not easy either. Like that gut wrench that hit you in the chest. Like, what? Because I feel like with both of those, you go through a crazy phase of denial with both of them. And this is my opinion. I feel like with both of them, you go through a crazy deep phase of denial because the person that you watched, it's like when it happens, it's like your brain still doesn't register, you know, that it happened because your brain is still now not is your brain seeing this person up and moving, but now your brain keeps seeing this person lying there in a bed. You know what I'm saying? It's like your brain is repeating that visual. But then the phone call part, your brain is repeating all, you know, that over and over. So I feel like, and it's hard to accept both of those. So I feel like neither one of those are easier to process. I feel like processing grief literally only depends on the individual. Like, you know, it just depends on who you are and your perception and how you look at life. Because for me, the only thing that makes me, I feel like that makes grief better for me. And I hate to say grief and better, but you know what I mean? I feel like the only thing that makes it a little lighter for me is how I look at life and transitioning. Because with my spiritual based belief system, I don't believe that we just gone and we're just not here. You know, we are energy and energy never leaves. So for me, I always say transition. I don't say, you know, the D word. I say transition. So for me, that makes it different. Like, okay, this person is still around. I just can't see him in the physical form.
Right.
So I feel like I feel like that ricochets me into acceptance, you know, and like I say,
I think the hardest part for me with Tanisha was honestly, getting the opportunity to say all the things that she wanted to say and that I wanted to say. And because I feel like, that last 2 weeks before she passed away, like she did a lot of apologizing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy because she had liver failure, and when you have liver failure, like it's toxins in your bloodstream. So she didn't even fully understand like who she was or like who we were towards the end. Like she always knew who I was. She never forgot me. But there were some family members that she just didn't remember who they were. Like it's kind of like an Alzheimer's that they go through, a dementia in the final phases. And
take a breath.
She apologized a lot. And, you know, like I took a lot of videos and I took a lot of pictures of us because while she was passing, we moved a mattress into the room where she was at so we could be there with her because I was her around the clock caregiver. And she did a lot of apologizing, you know, and I think, and she did a lot of telling us how grateful that she was for us and that she was grateful that we were there. And every time she woke up screaming my name, looking for me. And I think for me, like, hearing her apologize, knowing like she knew that she was leaving, like, I think that mentally for me to go back and think about her being in a state that she felt like it was too far to go back, you know? But she knew that she had to leave us. And, you know, the day I left her, I'm sorry, y'all. The day I left, I knew I had to come home because I knew that she was holding on to waking up every morning and me being there and to watch her continue to go through the pain and agony that she was going through. I knew that I needed to leave. And so the part that replays in my mind all the time is me going into her room and telling her bye before I came back home, knowing that when I came back, she was going to be gone.
Yeah.
And her reaching up and hugging me and telling me that she was sorry. You know, like everybody says it's easier when you have the opportunity to say the things that you want to say. But honestly, I don't think it is.
I'm not gonna lie. And like I said, this is me. I don't like to compare none of it. I don't like saying none is easier, none is harder. I don't like saying, oh, well, just because that person wasn't your mom, dad, like, because, you have a lot of people that compare this stuff. And it's like, at the end of the day, man, none of this stuff is easy. None of it. None of it is no easier. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And it's all hard. It's all hard.
Yeah.
So I feel like,
I just feel like a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
people kept telling us through the whole thing, like the hospice people that would come in and, talk to us, and pastor coming in and talking to us and just kind of telling us like, just praise God for the time that you do have and the things that you can say. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
kind
We
of
gonna tailor
crazy.
to some of these comments, you guys. Give us a beat. I thank y'all. Y'all, this is tonight. We are just being vulnerable, but these conversations need to be had because, like we always say, there's a lot of us that don't have these, and this is important. So, to some of these comments, okay. So what I see for right here, and I didn't see none of these. Okay, so I have D says I lost my mom in 2019. It hit me like 2 years ago. She was gone when I miscarried a baby in September of 23. Till this day, I'm still in pain because I went through a hysterectomy, so I will never have kids. It hurts. I just tell myself maybe God saw something. I wasn't ready. I don't know. English says never got past it because I never seen a body. Mm, okay.
Oh
Um,
man, that's different.
yeah, yeah, that's definitely a different one. Um,
Yeah.
so I do have a quick question though for you, English. Was that hard for you to accept it since you never, seen a body? Like, was that acceptance part really hard for you? Um, and this, I'll wait for you to answer, but to keep going,
I
D
guess
says, "Hey,
without going
huh?
into too many questions, like I don't know, maybe that's a topic for off of here. Like I'd like to know more about that English. Like what does she mean by that? Like,
Yeah,
no, I don't know. Like
yeah."
I don't know. Okay.
Okay. Oh, and I want to say, hey, Trey, you are on here. Tremaine, hi, brother. Thank you for joining. We're talking about grief tonight. So just in case you didn't catch the beginning, my Aunt Alva, she put, it takes a while to process death, especially when you are close to the person. It really don't hit you when you are at the funeral that when you know you won't see that person. And I know what you're saying, but yeah, I agree with that because I feel like it didn't hit me. Like, I don't know, I was so numb. Every service I've ever been to, my brain is just no. And stuff never hits me until later. Like, even with Tanisha, I'm not gonna lie. Well, that was different because I feel like that did hit me during the service because I had to get up and walk out. I
Yeah.
couldn't. And I think for me, that was because she was so young. And for me, my brain, especially seeing those pictures of her as a little girl, for me, I remember her then. And it reminded me of how long she's been in my life. And it's like, I really have more memories of you, Chris, and Tanisha growing up than I do with my own cousins.
Yeah.
So that one hit me. It did hit me during the time, but most services, my brain is like shut off and it
Yeah.
doesn't hit me until later. But I will say, yeah, hers hit me. And I don't want to lie about that one because yes, I had to get up and walk out. I did.
Yeah. You
So
know
that,
what's crazy is I don't even remember my Aunt Sean service. Like I don't remember any part of it. I think that I was so far gone in that time. My Aunt Sean, for those of you guys who don't know, was like my mother. I called her my mom. She was definitely like she's my mom's sister, my mom's only sister, her only sibling, period. And like I think for me, like when that happened, I remember getting the phone call. I remember turning around, going to her apartment. I remember seeing her laying in the bed and then them taking her out. And anything after that, like I think that I just drew a blank on it. Like I completely shut that out of my life for so long that when people talk about her funeral or talk about like the events around her funeral, like I don't remember any of it. I think that I completely blocked that out of my life.
yeah, yeah.
It's just
That
crazy to me
happened
because
before.
I want to remember, but I don't remember.
Yeah, that is crazy. Oh, we got some comments on the stage. You got to read those, Ashley.
I can't see him on the stage.
Oh, not on the stage, but oh, so you can't see those.
I see
Nicole, you got
Bree.
to.
is
Oh
next.
no, I was about to say, Nicole, you gotta excuse me because you're on YouTube, and girl, you know I can't see. I
I
love
can
you though.
see I can see Nicole's. I can see Nicole's. But there was a comment from Bree before. It says a lot of my grief I've been through, I went through it on drugs. With losing Tanisha, I'm finally doing it sober and it hits so much different. I think when you're on drugs, you mask feelings. Going through it sober is a whole different ball game. I
Yes,
think watching
ma'am.
them I think watching them go is way harder. And then Nicole says, nothing truly prepares you to live without someone you plan to live without. You never plan to live without Nicole. So for me, that resonates with me so tough because I'm telling you, like the lady from hospice kept telling me, because if you would have asked a couple of weeks before Tanisha passed away, when I kissed her and I told her goodbye, I was ready. I was tired of watching her suffer. I was tired of watching her go through what she was going through. I was honestly exhausted from taking care of her. Like our life completely stopped from March to May, and those months that she was passing, because we were there. We were, like I said, her around the clock caregiver. So I think like we were so exhausted and just ready to get back to life and ready for her to just stop suffering. As messed up as that may sound, you guys, until you
Yeah.
guys go through something like that, you'll never understand what I'm saying right now. But I think that we were all just so exhausted in that moment. Like we thought we were prepared, but Nicole, you're right. Like you could never prepare for something like that. And the
Yeah.
lady from hospice said, I don't care how ready you think you are, when she's
You're never.
finally gone, it's gonna hit you like you were never ready at all. And
Yeah.
that's facts. That's true statement.
Yeah. That's why I back up my statement and say that's why I feel like none of it is easy, and both types are still, because at the end of the day you're never ready. Even if you watch them, you're still not ready. Even if you get a phone call, you're definitely not ready. So at the end of the day, you're never really ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts.
Mhm.
D said, I didn't know I was pregnant the day I lost the baby. Is the day I knew it was hard because I keep telling myself I would have done things differently. I'm on dialysis, and when you're pregnant on dialysis, you have to go every day. I go 3 days a week, and I keep blaming myself for not going every day. I blame myself, but I didn't know I was pregnant, and I never get the chance because I got mad and had a hysterectomy.
Mm.
D, as a woman who struggled with fertility issues, me and my husband are currently right now doing IVF because my whole life I've struggled with fertility issues. I feel what you're saying, and from me to you, I know exactly what that feels like to have that. Like it'll never happen, and you really don't understand, and you question God, like why? Like you give all these kids to all these females that don't want them, and I just want one, you know. But D, I'll pray for you and your mindset on that, because like I said, as a woman who struggles with fertility, I know exactly how that feels. I've lost babies to miscarriages early, to where I didn't know. This last one was a tubal pregnancy where I did know, and was speaking life over me and myself and my body every day, and me having the faith that I have in God. Um, and speaking over my child every day because I knew I was pregnant, and then it being gone. Like I said, that's why I went through that dark place, because I've never spoke life over anything like I spoke life over that child, because I wanted it that bad. My husband was ready. And so for me, like it was, I don't know, D, I understand the infertility. I do understand that, baby, and that's something that I'll never understand either. I just
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Hey, Hey, Andrew, I love you too. Nicole says, I believe you definitely have to appreciate the time you get with your loved ones. We all are going to leave the earth one day. It doesn't make it easier, though.
Yeah, it doesn't. It definitely doesn't. I don't know. As I was reading, I seen 5 facts about grief, and I want to share these with you guys. I wrote them down. First fact, it says grief is not just about death, which we have identified that. I mean, you can lose a job, you can lose a friendship. I feel
Yeah.
like another situation that can be really hard to get through grieving wise is relationships. Like we don't talk about grieving relationships often, because breaking up with that boyfriend or girlfriend that you've been with forever, that you said you were going to marry, that you were ride or die, that hurts too. That hurts too.
Absolutely, it does.
Go through a lot with that one.
Imagine
Um,
grieving somebody who you're with. And a lot of people don't talk about this either, and I'm gonna speak on it right now because I know a lot of women who have been through this, grieving somebody who's still very much alive that you just can't be with.
Yep. Oh, that's a gut wrencher. You are right. A lot of people don't talk about that because you still, that's still grieving a loss. I mean, yes, and that is very real, and very prevalent.
Yeah.
Okay. The second fact about grief, the stages of grief aren't linear, meaning they don't fall in no particular order. I mean, you could encounter acceptance first. You could accept it, then go bargaining, then get depressed. I mean, there's no order when it comes to how one goes through these stages. And I definitely want to just pinpoint that out because when you hear these 5 stages, psychology actually tells you that there's an order, but actuality, there's not an order. You know what I'm saying? And I say that also from personal experiences because I've experienced them all and they definitely weren't in no certain order. The third fact about grief, grief can be triggered at any time. Oh, so true. So true. And that's why I said earlier, it's important to know your triggers. For me, to be honest, I'm triggered every time I see a father with his son. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm triggered. I can watch a movie on TV and see a dad hugging his son or hearing a dad, I love you, son. Like, ah, that messes with my heart every time. When I see a dad with any kid, it messes with me. It's very triggering. So for me, and I can't stop other people from loving their kids. So for me, when I do feel that trigger, I'm not gonna lie, I just go on by myself. I seclude myself. I isolate myself because I don't want other people to feel weird, and I'm not going to keep explaining what triggers me. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I take accountability for my trigger and I handle it how I handle it. But yes, that is a major trigger for me. Anytime I see any man with their kids. And it's something. I don't know if that'll ever leave. Like I can hear somebody say, "What up, though?" And that's a trigger. Because those of you, if y'all knew Big Damien English, you knew him well. What up, though, was his thing. I can hear somebody say, "Good morning, America." That's a trigger because that was his thing. But since I know that, I handle myself with care. And I will tell you guys, if I can give you guys any advice while you're going through grief, handle yourselves with care. That's important. Don't be hard on yourself. That's not the time to be beating yourself down, to be talking negative to yourself. None of that. Handle yourself with care. All right, the fourth fact about grief is grief is not just about sadness. I mean, and like we talked about earlier, anger is grief. I mean, you can have guilt. Numbness is a major part of grief. Numbness, they say that is a major part of grief because a lot more people go numb than not, they say. And I found that to be an interesting fact.
You know what's crazy about that fact is that I think that over the years, like losing so many people at such a young age. Because Shay, hey, let me explain something to y'all. Shay has been there from day one, like through all of my losses. Okay, like she watched us go through back to back to back to back losses at a young age. And so for me, like I have been numb. You know what I mean? Like I absolutely have been numb. And now that I'm 37, Shay. Yeah, I'm 37. Now that I'm 37,
like I know.
listen, now that I'm 37, like I'm understanding, like it's not healthy to not be able to process that grief and to go into that numb stage. And for me, like, I don't know. I feel like growing and learning and trying to understand and trying to grieve and trying to live life and trying to adult and trying to wife and trying to mother and still trying to grieve all at the same time, like it wears you the hell out. Okay. Yes. And I'm telling you, like, I don't even know where to start at. So I don't know. This one's been a rough one for me. And I don't know if it's because I'm numb. Like I keep asking myself, like, am I just so numb I don't feel it? Or am I just so scared to grieve her that I just won't feel it? Or you know what I mean? Like I don't know what I'm going through right now with Tanisha. Like, but I don't know. Like this one's a hard one for me. And like I said, if you guys in the comments have some advice or something that you may have went through that's something similar to what I'm going through right now, that might help me understand like what is going on inside of me as a woman right now, and not being able to identify or see. Like, I don't even know. Like, I really don't know. So if y'all got
Yeah.
some advice for me in the comments, please drop it. I'm more than happy to read your comments and listen. I need healing right now. Okay, I'm reaching out
Yeah.
to the community.
Well, this is the first stage because you're on here and we're on here and we're talking about this. So that's the first stage of looking for healing. Before we get too far away from this, I got to talk about the fifth and final fact that I looked up. And this, I feel like this is the most important fact about grief. But there's no right or wrong way to grieve, and there is no set timeline or method to healing. It looks different for everybody. Some people's healing, you got to get a little messy before you get a little clean. You know, some people, they can just get straight to it. Like, I don't know. I hear a lot when it comes to, Ashley, you were around for my situation with Big Damien, especially. You were around up close and personal. And I hear a lot that I did good, but I feel like I didn't do good because I wasn't necessarily numb, but I got busy.
I was getting ready to say,
I got busy. Like, I mean, you guys, and like I say, I'm talking to people that don't know the full situation, but when he transitioned, I'm going to say I didn't even have a GED. I didn't have a GED. He was that person that was on me, like, go back to school, go back to school, go back to school. And I was like, you ain't my daddy. Like, that was how my attitude was. But that's how I was with him. Like, shut up. You ain't my daddy. You don't run me. But when he transitioned, it's like, I mean, that man talked to me about credit. That man talked to me about buying properties. I didn't know none of this before. I was a street gal. You know what I'm saying? I was in the streets. So hearing somebody talk about all this, when he was telling me, I was upset. Like, man, I don't care what you're talking about. Go on about your business and go do something. Go to work. You know, that was my thing because I'm pregnant and evil. But when he transitioned, it was like everything he said to me made sense. So for me, I went and got my GED, and it took me quite a few times, but I got my GED. Right after that, I enrolled straight in college. I finished college 6 months early. Right after that, I started my business. Right after that, I moved and bought a house. It's like I did so much to where, like I say, I'm just now really like, when I moved here to Kansas City, and it had already been like 5 years, but when I finally like was able to sit down, because I even went back to school after I moved here. So when I was finally able to sit down, everything hit me like a Mack truck, y'all. Like, it hit me like a Mack truck. So it's like, on one hand, I feel like I accepted it. I fought the depression, so I didn't go through that. But it was like, for me, I always tell people I was on autopilot. For 2 years, I don't remember nothing. 2017, 2018, my memory literally does not kick back in until 2019. And I always tell people that was God taking over, because I can't account for nothing. Even going to school, half the stuff I learned in school, I don't remember, but I know I did good because I had almost a 4.0 GPA.
You passed, you know?
That's what I'm saying. So for me, it was that autopilot. I just was like, you know what, God, you got it. I can't do it no more. I don't want to be here. So for me, that's what it was. But now that I look at it, I'm like, that wasn't the healthiest way either. Because like I said, when I finally was able to sit, and it's like, I can be honest, I got so busy, I didn't even pay attention to what my sons needed. And that's the part that actually that bothers me the most to this day about how I grieved. You know, outside looking in, people are like, Shay, you did so good. Like, Big Damien will be so proud of you. But then behind closed doors, like, I really ignored my son, and my junior at that. I was so busy and on autopilot. Yes, I had just had Prince, and so Prince was up under me. Like, he was the baby. So, you know, he was up under me 24/7. But now that I look at it, and little Damien is about to be 15, and I look at all that time that I didn't pay attention to him. Yeah, because I was hurt. And I'm like, I didn't grieve right. I didn't grieve right because I forgot about my son, and I forgot about his grief because I was so busy sitting in mine. And that part actually still bothers me till this day. So
That's
Yeah, there's
deep.
definitely no time limit on this. Like, it's definitely
That's
no time limit on
definitely
it.
really, really deep what you just said, Shay. Like, and I think that a lot of people don't even think like what other people are going through our grief. Like we're so busy going through it, like, and it's crazy, crazy, crazy that you see that situation like that because you were on autopilot and you did do a lot of different things, Shay. Like you went super hard in the paint for a super long time. Like you elevated in every way as a woman and a mother, period. I watched you go from us to TT being a baby to, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, to where you are right now. And like, I know that you feel like you might not have did a good job because you didn't see what Damien was going through, but as your friend that was there for you throughout that whole situation and through everything we've been through in life for all these years, like you did the best you could. Don't beat
Yeah.
yourself up about that. Like
Yeah,
you
I
did the
try
best
not
you
to.
could. You did what you knew how to do. Like you had never lost your kid's father before. Like you had never lost your significant other. Like you didn't know what that was going to feel like to go through that. And I think that when things like that happen, like we always do the woulda, shoulda, couldas, or coulda, shoulda, wouldas,
Yeah.
or whatever, like I could have done this different or I should have done this different. And then like when you step out of that grief and you're starting to see like looking back at yourself like you are right now, like Shay, you couldn't have changed anything that you did or made it any different because God had you that whole time. Like he was carrying you
Yeah.
through that because you couldn't have made it on your own. And so
Yeah.
you have to understand that just like he was carrying you, he was carrying Damien too, because God knew you couldn't carry both of y'all. You didn't have the
Yeah.
strength to carry both of y'all. And you had to stay busy. And I'm telling you, like Bree just got done saying in the comments, I totally agree. Losing Sneesh has pushed me into the greater me and pushing me into the greatest version of myself. I feel the same way. When
Yeah.
I came home, I didn't have no PTO left. I used it all to take care of her. I didn't have no paid time off left. I left my boutique on steel while I was down there. When I came back, no lie, I had 20, 30 boxes of inventory that had to be unpacked. I had to be back to work in 2 days. Like my life has not stopped since
Yeah.
she passed away. I went back for the funeral and came right back and jumped right back into it. And I'm telling you, like, I don't know if this is God positioning me to where I'm so busy that I don't have time to sit down, or I don't know, but I feel like her being gone is pushing me into a different version of myself. Seeing her leave at 36 years old, you guys, life is so short. And I
Yeah,
know
it
people
is.
say it all the time, like life is short, life is short. Love your people, do this, do what you can, enjoy life. Like it's just a saying until it's actually in front of you. Like you
Right.
don't even really
Yep.
understand it until it's actually in front of you. And you're seeing like she's 36 years old. When my Aunt Sean passed away, she was 37. She died from a brain aneurysm. Her first
Mm.
child died a year before her at 36 years old from her liver failing. Life is
Yeah.
short. Like you can say it all day long, but I really don't think, hey Michelle, I really don't think anybody really
Michelle.
understands what that looks like. And Shay, I think that you did an outstanding job as a woman, and the woman that you are today, I'm proud of you. You
Well,
know,
thank you.
I and I appreciate, I'm sure your other kids appreciate the mother that you are. Damien was just a little bit older when his father passed away. And so he was old enough to really understand that his dad's not coming back. You know what I mean? And so for him, like, I don't know. I was just watching an episode the other night, and it was like, you know, to have your parent there one day as a child and then for them just wake up and know that they're gone and know that they're not coming back, but you don't fully understand like they're not coming back. Like I think that's where Damien was in that age and that stage. And you did the best you could, Shay.
You know, the hardest part is for me is actually now it's not grieving myself because I know how to tame mine and you know I can identify triggers and everything. But going through his grief with him. Because one thing I will say, my son, he didn't even drop a tear for about 4 years. I mean, and the crazy thing, and if anybody's ever had this situation, I always say like we got to be more patient with the kids. The kids, grieving children are different than grieving adults. And I talked to a child grief therapist that agreed with this statement. But most children, they say, if they lose a parent before they are teenagers, most children can't even process the thought like all the way, you know. And
Yeah.
they say that when a child becomes an adolescent, that's when that starts to process. But then you got to think about, you got the hormones, environmental influences. Now you got everything else on top of them processing. Because when I finally, for a long time, I didn't think my son even cared, to be honest. I mean, I can just be real about that. I didn't even think he cared, because he was so numb, and he
Yep.
wouldn't break. He wouldn't talk about him. He would nothing. He just stayed away from everything. And I'm like, for him to be a kid, I figured, he would have some type of emotion, but that was, what I thought should happen. But as he got older, the first time I seen him have any tears, unfortunately, he lost his oldest sister to cancer, maybe about 2 years after their father passed. And the crazy thing is, he didn't cry about his father, but he broke about his sister. And I was like, oh my gosh. So when I helped him through that, and that kind of messed with me, because I'm like, that I knew that was a trigger, that brought up everything, his dad, his sister. And but he didn't break about his dad until he started school. He was in middle school. And one day I get a phone call. Oh, he's, doing the most, come pick him up. He was fighting, he was suspended. And I pick him up, and I'm just like, doing my mom thing, talking to him. And he breaks down. This boy talked about my dad, and he said, that's why your dad's gone. And da-da-da. I was like, oh. And that's kind of when it started coming out. It just came out from there. And it's been a healing process from there. And I've noticed, like I say, like, I was so busy, caught up in my pain, that I didn't even realize he was just holding his. Like, like I said, I thought he didn't care, but no, it was there. He cared a lot. He just didn't know how to process it.
Yeah.
But when he finally did process it, that stuff came out like a hurricane.
Yeah.
And I'm still being patient with him. Y'all pray for us. We still working through a lot. But we're getting through it. We're getting through it. He's a lot better. So yeah, children grieving is different than adults. I feel
Well,
that's what I noticed.
I think as parents, we look at our kids and like think they're just like so resilient. Like, and kids are so resilient. They really are. And I think that we forget, like, these are many human beings. I can't
English
see
still got his phone number. No, I just seen that comment. English said, tell me why I still have his phone number. And the crazy part, English, I gotta tell you this. I still have his phone number. I just gave it to my daughter because I want to still call it. So we still got it activated. So if you ever accidentally call it, Shauna's gonna pick up. But yeah, it be like that. Okay, I'm sorry, Ashley, but I just seen that.
No, you're fine. I was just saying, I think that we think as parents, especially with boys, women, and this is another thing, like, women cannot raise men. I don't care what you say. Like, we don't even know how to help them identify with their feelings, because women, guaranteed women, most of our statements start with, well, I feel, or I felt, because we lead with feelings. Men don't lead with feelings. And so for them, like when you say Damien didn't even cry, like, I think about Trey Sye with Tanisha, like, how close they was. She had him every summer, all summer long, his whole life, like a second parent to him. And for me, like when I had to go tell him that she passed away, and to see him kind of look at me, and he dropped a few tears, just a few. But after that, Trey Sye hasn't even mentioned. He ain't even mentioned Tanisha again. And so for me, like as a parent, I think it's just safer to leave it alone. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just safer to not keep bringing it up and trying to wake up those emotions inside of him, because if he's not feeling that, why as a parent would I go and try to make him feel that? And now listening to you talk about Damien, like maybe I do need to have that conversation with him. Maybe I do, because he carries her Squishy-Millow around everywhere.
So
everywhere
that's
he goes. Yeah. And so that's a sign that he's grieving her in his own way, but he don't show emotions. And so for me, like I said, maybe I do need to go in before he starts to try to identify those feelings on his own. It comes out the wrong way. You know what I mean? Because they were super close. That was his first major loss in life, that he's old enough to understand, like, she's gone and she's not coming back. And so I don't know, Shay, I don't know. Maybe I need to go talk to my baby tonight, check on him, make sure he's all right.
Kids are definitely different. I will say that they're definitely different. and just going through what I went through, like, especially teenage boys, boy. And you know, one thing I hate, and I don't tell my sons this, but I hate that the world tries to convince little boys that it's weak to cry.
I
That
can't stand it. I
that
cannot stand
bothers
that.
me so much
Me
because
too.
being emotionally intelligent, I haven't always been this way, but I'm gonna claim it now. With being emotionally intelligent, it's strengthening your tears. It's cleansing. So I feel like we all need that, male and female. You need to
Yeah.
cleanse. It is safe and it's healing to cry. It feels better. It lifts so much off of you when you cry. And I wish that over all our males. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, I know some parents will be like, you know, you shouldn't force tears out, but no, I give my boys that time. And even still to this day, if Damien, he don't, because he's on tough cookies. I ain't gonna tell his business too much on live. But
Yeah. Yeah.
when we have those moments, I allow him to feel those without
Yeah.
judgment. I'm not
And you
that
know,
mom, fuck them tears up, shut up, boy. No. Feel what you're gonna feel, baby. Because you need
and
to
you know, me
process
and
going.
Lloyd went through that because you know, Lloyd, when we first got together, he's a man. He's the hard
Yeah.
parent. You know, like I can say I've
Well,
seen
you
my
did not
husband
have to
cry.
say he's a man. We know.
I've seen my husband cry maybe twice in the almost 5 years we've been together. And one, he lost one of his really good friends, and the other time was over his son, not being able to talk to his youngest son. Those were the only two times I can say I've seen my husband cry. And so for him, like Trey Sy was raised by women. Okay. Me, my mom, my sister, and Tanisha. Those are the four women in his life, along with like my circle, which is very, very small. Let me just say that. But we're all women. And so for him, like, he gonna cry, bro. if you
But
if
even still, y'all are still not the average women, because even out of all those women you name, your mama gonna cry first, because you and Bree are, and you'll probably cry second. Bree last, because she's hardcore. She a thug.
Yeah, you right. Hey, but I'm trying to tell you though, but he'll cry though. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
anytime he would cry, my husband would be like, boy, shut up, shut up. Hey, stop that crying, stop that crying. I had to sit him down like away from Trey Sy, of course, because we don't go back and forth in front of the kids and stuff. And I had to tell him, like, hey, I don't want to raise my son like that. Like, I don't want him to think that it's not okay for him to cry or have feelings and emotions. I don't want him to feel that way. Like, I want him to understand, like, he needs to be able to identify every feeling and emotion that he's feeling in a healthy way, because you telling him to shut up, now he's mad. You're teaching him how to
Yeah.
be angry even when he's sad. And I don't want to raise my son like that. And so
Yeah.
he explained to me, like, well, that's weak, you know, like, I'm not gonna let none of my sons cry like this. He's soft, da, da, da. And I told him, it's not he's soft. I'm teaching him how to identify emotions because we weren't able to, and that's what's wrong with you now. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that's what's wrong with all of us right now, is that we don't know how to identify our emotions properly because we was too busy being told shut up. Like, damn, I
Yeah.
can't tell you how I feel. No,
Right.
the voice didn't mean
That's real.
anything back then.
That's
We
real.
got some more comments.
Okay. What happened to my com?
So I
Oh, there
said,
we.
hey, okay, Bree says, I don't know about others, but when I lay down or get into that dark place, I can't get out. So I feel like I got to keep going, because if not, depression will take over. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah,
And then,
especially if you struggle with depression, that's understandable to stay away from it.
yeah. And then Nicole says, unfortunately, events still have a way of strengthening you even through the grief.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
And then we got Miss Kendra on here. Hey, baby girl. She said, yes, that is so true, because you don't understand it until it's at your doorstep. I lost my brother and my cousin, who was like a brother, at such a young age. And no lie, Shay was my strength through them both. Yeah, I will say that y'all never really know the hurt of losing a sibling until you actually lose one of your siblings. Like, hey, I'm telling you, that hurt is like nothing else, because you got to think about it. Like, your siblings are your first best friends. I don't care how much y'all bicker and fight and argue growing up. Like, this is the first person that you were close to. This is the first person that you loved unconditionally, because that's your sibling. I don't care how messed up we are as siblings. Hey, I love mine. I don't care how messed up my big brother is. I love mine. And can't nobody do nothing to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter how much me and my sister fought, like, I love them. And so until you really lose a sibling, you'll never really know. And so, Kendra, I watched you go through that from a distance, not even understanding like how it felt. You know what I mean? Because we've lost so many people that it's just kind of like, you just keep going. But now, like thinking back to watching you go through that and not being able to identify with that grief, baby, I understand. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like that, losing one of your first best friends. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just like I said, a different kind of grief. It's something different that you're gonna have to go through. Hey,
Yeah.
Zach. Zach says, now I have a third daughter, and growing up like we did, I'm having to learn a whole new set of skills. Michelle says, real men cry. Kendra says, yes, it's good to let it out. English says, especially them kids that don't look like the parent, especially them kids that look like the parent that's gone. Ooh, because trust and believe them weird boys look just like their daddy.
Man, look, and she hit that one on the nail. Oh, yeah, English, you hit that one on the nail, because I ain't gonna lie, it doesn't bother me as much as it used to, looking at my sons, especially Junior. It doesn't bother me as much as it used to, but for a long time, and I mean, they live with me, but for a long time, every time I look at them, tears would come to my eyes. Every time I would call my son's name, because the oldest is a junior, tears would come to my eyes. Like that part, I feel like the whole thing that I went through when it came to that one, and I bring up that one because that was the one that shaped me the most. Unfortunately, I've had quite a few losses of people I was close with, but I bring that one up because that one shaped me the most, and I had to fight the hardest to find my healing with that one. But it was hard. That's why I say it was hard to raise my sons. Because looking at them, all I could do is just hug them and cry, hug them and cry. I feel like I spent 2 years just hugging and crying, hugging and crying. I didn't do nothing else. And that was hard. So that was hard for me to get through. But we're on the other side now. So
yeah. You be thinking you on the other side. you be thinking you on the other side. Boy, and that's one thing about grief, it'll sneak up on you. A lot of people think like it just comes once a year on their anniversary or when they, you know what I mean? Like, oh, that's their birthday. Let's all, be sad, and it's gonna be no, like grief is random. Like it literally hits you just whenever, you know what I mean? Like the couple of times I have broke down with Sneesha, I didn't even see that shit coming. Like, and the second time I was damn near about to go to the hospital. I thought I was dying. I was that scared. Like I thought I was having a heart attack. I thought I was dying. I didn't know what was happening. I was having an anxiety attack. I was having a panic attack. I haven't had a panic attack since my grandma passed away, because I've learned how to cope and how to understand like when I'm getting to that point, coping mechanisms to back down and back out of that state that I'm in. Hey, but I'm telling you, like grief is sneaky. So you think you on the other side until something happens, or he moves like Damien, or you know what I mean, or something reminds you of him, or you smell something that smells like him, and I'm just using him as an example because that's what we were talking about. And then it all comes back like a ton of bricks and slaps you in the chest, and there you are, like day one, like it just happened. So
but I told you I have those moments. I'm going to say, because I still have those moments. I say I'm on the other side because it's not as bad as it was. I still have them. And that follows up with one of the facts that there's no time limit on this. And I tell people that all the time. When people come to me and they talk to me, there's no time limit on it, because I know people that still grieving 15, 20 years later. I mean, I mean, like you said, Ashley, those triggers are real. But for me, since I have them so much, I don't sit in it. Because for me, that's what it is. You're gonna have them, but I don't sit in them. I literally give myself enough time to fully get it out. And then after that, all right, let's figure out what else we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Because I won't sit in it. And that's my thing. That's how I heal and how I keep pushing forward, by just choosing not to stay there. But I do get there.
Yeah. What about grieving people that you never even got the opportunity to meet? Like I think about like me and my dad just had this conversation. I just seen him pop on, and that's what made me think about it. Hey, pops,
Yeah.
is
Hey, Papa Terry.
I was
Oh, and
sitting
I
at
see
his
your mom
house.
on here too. Hey, Gwen. I thought
Are
I
they
seen her
on
on.
here?
I, yeah,
Oh
she's
yeah,
on here.
they
Hey,
did.
Gwen.
Hey, mama. But my dad, me and him were sitting outside, and I never met his dad, my
Yeah.
grandpa. You know what I mean? Like I talked to him on the phone. I've heard so much about him, but I never got the opportunity to meet him.
Mm.
And then he passed away. And now that I'm getting older, like I be thinking, like, you want to know your people, like I never got that opportunity. Chris did. Chris met him, but I never got to actually hug my grandpa in real life. Like, I don't know. It just be things, as you get older that you really just start to look at,
That's deep, and I never really thought about that, but you are very right though, Ashley, because and all I can do is use my personal experience. I encountered that recently because you already know with meeting my biological father's side and dealing with my Taylor side,
Yeah.
my grandfather passed before I got a chance to meet him. My uncle Anthony passed, my aunt Jojo passed. And since I've been around, since I've been, in contact with them, my cousin passed, my great aunt Lo passed, and my uncle Spencer passed. And the crazy part, my aunt Lo and my uncle Spencer affected me. Because I got a chance to meet them and they got to finally see my face. And I
Yeah.
actually developed a relationship with my uncle Spencer. And the crazy thing is, you are so right. Like what I went through, and I've talked to my father about this because he knows how I feel, but I did go through a downward spiral to where I was just like, I was angry for a second because I'm like, all this time I didn't get to have with them. And then
Yep.
I finally get around them and I lose them. Like, like now,
Yep.
by the grace of God, my granny on that side is still here. And I make sure that I call her every now and then. And I make sure that, even if I just call her just to see her face, hey granny, I make sure I do that because that means a lot to me. But yeah, that stuff hurt me deeply. Like, because I've never had a grandpa around, not even on my mom's side. I never had a grandpa around.
Yeah.
And so like those family members not being here in my brain when I went to the service, all my brain could register is all the shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's all I kept thinking. If I would have been around from day one, if I would have been
Yeah.
raised with them, if I would have, knew them better, like it was just so much. And then to see all these people, because my aunt Lo, she was a very important person in our family. Like she was one of the matriarchs. She was that glue from what I understand. And
Yeah.
I didn't get to experience that love. I didn't get to experience that with her. I only got to see her for maybe a year and before she transitioned. And so for me, you are right. Like we don't talk about stuff like that, a lot, but that is real too. That's real grief. It is real grief.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's kind of crazy because you really don't know how to feel in situations like that because you don't even know this person,
Right.
but
But
it's the
those
missed
feelings still come
opportunities of
though.
being able to know that person and like, the anger and the resentment for the people who kept you away from those people, it becomes real, you know what I mean? And like you said, like you were angry. And that was the first feeling that you identified was anger because you missed
Yeah.
that part with them people that you didn't even know, but you should have known.
Yeah.
You felt like you needed that opportunity to know it's a piece of you. It's a piece
Yeah.
of you that you never get to experience. And, grandparents are so important. I look at the relationship that my son has with my mom and my dad and like how important the relationship was for me and my mother's side. Like my
Yeah.
grandma was the glue to that side and my grandpa who's still living, on my mom's side, like how important those relationships were. And I never really got to have those relationships with my dad's side. Like I know my dad's mom. I love my grandma Lois. Like I got to experience her. But I
Yeah.
never got to experience my grandpa, and a lot of that was because he was in and out of prison my whole life. But then when he was out here, I don't know if I was in prison or I don't know what the case may have been, but we never even got to see each other before he was gone. You know what I mean? I think about that all the time, like, because all I hear is about him and how crazy he was. And you know what I mean? And I think about it like I still wanted to meet him, whether he was crazy or not. That was my grandpa. It's my dad's dad. I love my dad to death. I want to know every part of him, you know?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think, like I said, I'm growing up. I'm getting older, and I'm going through the emotions of different levels of grief and from different aspects and different ways, and just really looking at like, this is really grief. It's not just something you lost or you didn't get an opportunity. Like, you're grieving that person, you know?
Yeah, it is
Um,
real.
yeah. Yeah.
It is
So we do have a
very real.
lot of comments if you want to scroll through them, or if you want me to.
You know, you got the eyes, you my eyes. Don't play. Don't act like you
Girl, I
know.
don't know. My contact's kind of blurry. You see me keep leaning in like this tonight. uh,
Where else we
my
at?
mom says, yeah, when you only have one sibling, it's super messed up.
Yeah.
Kendra says, and watching their kids grow up and they don't get to love their parents. Seeing my little cousin fighting with anger because he just lost his dad and was close to his father. Now he is on the road to disaster.
That's real. Yeah, that's real.
And Kendra, with that, like thinking, I know one of the things that me and Deshaun were really sad about when we talked about Tanisha passing is she didn't have any kids. She didn't leave
Yeah.
any kids behind. Like, she didn't leave a husband behind. Like, she didn't get the opportunity to have any of those things before she passed away. And so we felt like her life was really shortchanged. And then, like, in the end, like, she talked about traveling a lot because, like I said, it's a type of dementia. I can't explain it to you. If you've never seen anybody pass away from liver failure, you'll never understand what I'm saying. Like, she literally would just have these illusions, like this stuff was happening, like she, and it's, some of it was like crazy, super crazy things, super funny things that she used to say, like her going to Chinatown. Like, she woke up out of her sleep one day and she said she was in Chinatown, you know what I mean? Or she was just in Dubai and she married a prince, like, and she really believed that these things were happening. But to think, like, the things that she talked about, like seeing the baby that she's seen so often and knowing that she lost her only child and she never got the opportunity to have another one, or I don't know, she just never got that opportunity. So Kendra, I think, like, for me now, thinking about how her kids having to grow up without their parents, like, I'm kind of grateful that she didn't leave any of that behind, because I know that probably would be hard to have to console her kids and have to try to make them understand, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That is definitely something else. I'm tonight, especially after this episode, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna get in my prayer stance and we're gonna definitely pray over everybody's kids. We're gonna
Yeah.
definitely do that because all these babies that are hurting, man, it hurts my heart that children have to even go through this. Like, I hate seeing adults grieving. So it really hurts me that so many children have to grieve a parent. And it's crazy.
And
It's
then
crazy.
knowing, like, even as an adult, like, to lose somebody who's a major factor in your life like that, like, when somebody passes away, there's two roads you can go down. It's that get
Yeah.
up and go, or it's that, I might take the wrong path and start getting, drunk and
Fight or
kicking
flight
it and hanging
response.
out.
Whatever.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, fight or flight
you have
response.
two
I'm
different
gonna
ways you
fight
can
through
go.
it.
Either you're gonna go left or you're gonna go right. And thinking, like, kids don't have the knowledge of what's really left. You know what I mean? Like, you want your kids to go right, but they don't even understand, like, that grief and anger takes them left because they don't know how to go right when they feel like
Yeah.
that, because they don't even know the real difference between left and right at that age. And so, like,
Yeah.
it's super scary to think about, like, Kendra, your brother's baby, is growing up without him, and one day they're gonna go through that grief phase of being angry, and I know you guys as a village will be there for them to try to help them through that, but they're gonna make their own decisions. You know what I mean? And I'm just using Kendra as an example because her comment is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, and the kids. You know what I mean? But I think that we do need to pray over our families and these kids out here who are going through grief that we might not even know that are going through grief, because um, life is going to take them one way or the other, and I pray that they all go right.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to shed light on something else when it comes to grief. And I feel like people don't acknowledge this as much because to some people it's not major. But I feel like grieving the old you in your old life is it's a lot to get over as well. Um, because especially when you are a different person and you feel like life was easier when you was this other person and you're trying to do good
Yeah.
and all grieving that old self and shit and that old skin is hard.
It's
It's
me
like
versus me, baby.
it's hard, but we don't talk about that often because but it's a real thing. Like it's a real thing, grieving that old life. And I say that for my Did you hear that? Oh my gosh.
What was
I'm
it?
sorry.
I hear it. What is it?
My boy's fighting.
Oh yeah, I can hear him. They finna be grieving this
Okay, I'm
if they
sorry.
don't cut it out.
They're about to be grieving here in a second. But anyways, let me get back.
You,
This
you can
see
go check it. You can go check that right quick. I can go I can read the comments. You need to step away.
They'll be fine.
You need my belt. I can
No,
provide one.
we gonna do this
Okay.
live. But anyways, so
Um
go ahead and go
so
to the
D
comments.
says, yes, I don't look at my aunts because they look like my mom.
Oh,
Michelle says, I was very fortunate. I didn't lose a family member until I was 26, and it was my great grandma. Girl, you had plenty of understanding then. I feel like we
man.
lost a lot of people real young.
Yeah.
Bree says, I feel like now that I'm getting closer to God, I'm actually sober. I'm finally grieving everybody, my mom, Alana, my kids, everybody all at once.
Yeah. And that's hard too.
D says, my half brother died on Halloween 2012. I really didn't know him. I was getting to know him. When I found out he died, it hurt me real bad. But at the same time, I didn't really know him. I think I was more hurt that we didn't have more time, but I thought it was weird because I didn't really know him. Girl, who you telling? I'm telling you, I
Yeah.
ain't thought about, Dad, if you're still here, when did my grandpa pass away? Can you tell me what year that was? Because I'm telling you, it's just now in 2025 that I've even been thinking about, damn, I didn't even get to meet my grandpa. I don't know why that's been on me so tough these last 4, 5, 6 months. But I feel like,
Yeah.
I don't even know where it came from.
Yeah.
But just out the blue, and I know my grandpa's been gone for a while. My dad said you married Bryce and didn't go with us to Dallas. Well, maybe that was the case. I was living life. I don't
Oh,
know.
well, there
I
you
don't
go.
remember.
He said, okay.
And then Kendra said it never goes away. Ugh.
It doesn't. He's
My mom said I used to think a phone call was the worst, but watching someone die is devastating. I went to one grief group and really nothing has changed. I think that's something that you need to consistently go to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think a grief group
Yeah.
is something you can go to one and think it's going to be like this life-changing experience for you. I think that grief groups, like, you really have to stay the course. And really go through that process with those people who are going through the same things as you, because I don't think anybody really opens up on their first day of grief group. I'm just sorry, but they're
No,
not.
they don't. Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Grief
think mommy, you
period
should
takes
really stay the course.
consistency to heal. Yeah.
Kendra says, yes, I will pray with you, and I'm so glad you brought this up to the forefront because people are hurting in silence, girl.
Yes. Yes.
Baby. Bree says, grieving the old you and the whole life is one of the hardest things in the world I'm doing right
Yeah.
now. Grieving the meat off their ass. Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole's comment had me cracking up for a second. I was waiting for you to get to it because that's what they're gonna be grieving. They keep on playing with me.
Tell them they better be quiet. They know we lie. Stop playing now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, grieving your old self. I'm still going through that. I'm not gonna lie because thinking about who I used to be, and I'm not only just talking about just only who I used to be, but the things I accepted, the things I tolerated, what I allowed around me, like thinking about that and then looking at me now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still in shock because I was so opposite. Like I did a 180 in life and I did it right after, the Big Damian's transition. So it was like, I didn't have time to think about nothing. I'm going to wake up and change. And I changed. so So for me, it was like even sitting still now, like fighting those old fights, you know, battling with those temptations, because all that stuff is still there. It's like, wow, I cannot believe, you know, I am who I am now. Even down to like grieving certain relationships in my family dynamic, just knowing that this relationship will never be the same. That has been really hard recently, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's all forms of grief that is hard.
Yeah, it's crazy that you say that because I often think of like how close me and my brother were growing up. Like that was my superhero. We were 13 months apart, 14 months apart. Like couldn't nobody tell us nothing. Like I looked up to him like I wanted to be just like my brother when I grow up. You know,
And
and I
thank God.
think that
I love you both.
I think that, you know, there was a time in my life I'll never forget it. And this was like one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through in my life. And no cap, I don't really talk to nobody about this because I love my brother. You know what I mean? Regardless to what we go through. But knowing that our relationship will probably never be the same as it was when
Yeah.
we were kids because we grew too far apart throughout the years. Like honestly, like where I am right now at my age, like that bothers me
Yeah.
because before Tanisha, it was me and him. And then
Yeah.
Tanisha came and it was me, him, and Tanisha. And then Bree came and it was 7 years later. This was way after we had already grown up. You know what I mean? It was us three and then came Bree, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was us four for so long that to think about, like, especially after watching Tanisha go through what she goes through, went through, like, it makes me want to reach out and hug my brother and just let
Yeah.
everything in the past go. But sometimes I feel like, you know, we've gone too far. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's I don't know. That's a grief for me. Like I said, grieving somebody that's still alive, very much so alive, and you want that relationship to be what it used to be, and it's just not, you know? And not knowing like if it'll ever be back to where it was.
Yeah.
The strong
Yeah.
bond, you know? Like I slept on his chest for a long time as a little girl. Like he was my protector growing up. Like I felt like he was gonna protect me from the world. That was my big brother, you know?
Yeah.
And to think like I tell myself all the time, and I know people be looking at me like, "Oh, she's hateful," like da 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 da, because I just like don't mess with him, you know. But I think that's to protect myself from having to continue to go through the disappointment.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. This I feel like the topic grief period is a rabbit hole
It's
because it gets so deep. It looks different with everybody. There's no time limit on it. Your stages are gonna be different.
yeah,
And why, like I say, I will always reiterate to anybody and everybody, you gotta take time for yourself and you gotta be gentle with yourself. You know, once you identify it, because and I will say that because like we already talked about, there's a lot of us that go numb and we don't even identify it. But once you identify it, once you can say, dang, I'm grieving, I'm going through it.
yeah.
After that, be gentle with yourself. Cause you're gonna be your roller coaster is just starting. Cause it doesn't get easier once you identify it. I feel like you just starting.
Do you
So
feel like it ever
identifying
gets
it part
easier?
is a lot. You said what?
Do you feel like it ever gets easier?
That part I feel like it depends on who you are. I mean, for me, I feel like personally it has gotten easier. Like I said, I still have those moments to where my chest hurt. I'm screaming to God. I still have those moments. But for me, it's easier to bounce back. That's what I'm gonna say. Now the process, I won't say is easier, but I'm gonna say my bounce back gets easier
Yeah,
because now I know what I'm going through. Because before I would have these moments and I'm confused and I'm screaming. I'm like, God, what is going on? Like I just knew I was hurting, and I'm just like I'm thinking about this man, and I'm like I can't breathe, and you know, like I'm falling to my knees. It was just so much before, but now that I've had those episodes so much and it's been so many years, for me, that bounce back is a little quicker. Like I said earlier, when I feel those feelings coming on, because you can feel the feelings because physically you're going to go through it. Like sometimes it hits your mind first. There's stages that I've noticed. The thought comes in, or whatever happens. If you smell something first, then the thought comes in. If you see something first, then the thought comes in. But either way it go, that thought comes in. And once you start thinking that, then you start feeling those physical feelings, like either your stomach, your heart rate starts elevating, your stomach starts hurting, your chest starts hurting, whatever you're going through, it gets to the physical part. So for me, once I feel that physical part, I'm like, okay, time to go, do whatever I need to do to get this out. And then once I get it out, that bounce back is a little faster each time. I'm able to wipe my face, play it off a little better. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't like to worry the next person with my stuff. But it becomes easier for me to bounce back. So that's the only part that gets easier. I don't feel like nothing else.
Yeah.
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 And I'm able to hide it better from other people. I will say that I can hide it better now. And I've heard other people say that about grief, because after so long, you get tired of repeating yourself to people, and you get tired of sharing the same story to people and reliving it with everybody. So for me, it's like, it's never going to stop playing in my head. I can still feel that phone call. Like if I close my eyes and think hard enough, I can go right back to the day that I got that phone call. I can go right back to me and his last conversation. Like if I think hard enough, I can do that. So for me, it's like, with it still being so prevalent in me, I'm not gonna lie, I just don't make people relive it with me. So I feel like that also becomes easier. You become better at hiding it from the world and dealing with it by yourself.
Yeah. What's crazy is you said it's a thought first, and then it's a feeling. Like, this is the first time in my life, I'm telling you this with Tanisha, and that's why I keep saying, like, I might need to go to some kind of grief counseling, because this is the first time it's not a thought for me, because I try not to think about it at all. Like, it's not a feeling, like it's instantly a feeling that I can't explain, and it's just like a mental breakdown in that very moment. Like, and it's scary to me because it just happens at random times. Like, I was sitting in my car today on lunch, having a great day. Okay. Nothing was wrong. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks in my chest. And I felt like, I don't know.
Yeah.
This one's different. I can definitely say this one is different. It's way different than anything I've ever had to go through. It's definitely not a thought, because like I said, I try not to think about it. I'm terrified to go back and look at pictures and videos. When I go to send messages on Messenger to like send out my live shows and her name is on there and I have to skip over her name because I know she ain't going to get it. Like, it's different this time,
Yeah.
It's way different. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of comments.
Yeah, I know.
My dad said my grandpa passed away in 2010. I knew it was a long time ago.
He passed the same year my grandfather passed, 2010.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's 2025.
I think we both we were both in the life doing the most.
I just got out. In 2010. So me marrying Bryce and not going was definitely not the case, because I had just got out. I married Bryce in 2007. 2010, I was with Tracy. My mom said I can't see other comments, but my cousin Sherry didn't come around for so long because she looked like Sean. It's crazy. They're like triplets. It's 3 of them. They all look just alike.
Oh.
Dee said, it is weird to know someone is grieving and you want to be there for them, but you don't want to be sad, and they are going to be. Well, my aunt that passed away 2 years ago, her birthday is Tuesday. My cousin isn't at ease. She still is in pain that her mom is gone. I will be there for her as much as I can. I understand she's not suffering. I feel selfish because she's hurting, but I don't want to sit on the phone all day crying. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong for this. AD, after reading the comments that you posted about your mom, you're still grieving your mom. Yeah. And so it's hard for you to listen to somebody else grieve theirs, because it triggers feelings and emotions inside of you that makes you go back into that grief. So it's fight or flight. You're fighting right now. You don't want to sit there and fight through that with her, because it's going to bring up emotions and feelings inside of you that you're trying to overcome right now. And so you're choosing just not to mess with that situation at all. And I would
And
say
I
that's
want to say
well-known
this.
grief for some people.
I want to point this out though with us saying that it's okay. It's okay. Because at some point of time, you have to still take care of self. And I
Yep.
say that because I exercise this myself. Unfortunately, I have other people that are close to me that they lost their kid's father too. And I'm not going to lie to nobody. And my friends know this. At any point of time when you're talking, if it triggers me and I cannot handle it, because there's times to where I'm equipped with the strength to handle these conversations. And I feel like for me personally, I feel like that's where God gave me the strength to deal with this. So I clearly needed to help my friend out at the moment. But there are times to where my cup is already full and I ain't got nothing extra to pour. And so I have a rule with my friends, and they know this. Like at any point in time, if this conversation is starting to make me feel away, I give myself freedom to say, hey, I'm sorry, I can't deal with this right now. Let me call you back when I regroup and when I get to a better place. And it's all love and it's all respect, because at the end of the day, you still have to protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? And like Ashley said, you're healing with your own situation. So I mean, if those times that you're feeling like, okay, I can handle my cousin and what she's going through, be there. But it's okay when you can't. It's okay when you need to get off that phone. It's okay to say, hey, I got to take a beat. I love you. Like, let me call you back tomorrow or something. That's fine. That's okay. Because we need to start doing more stuff like that anyway, because we still have to, we are responsible for our own healing as well.
Yeah. Period. Period. Period.
I'm big on that, y'all. I am super big on boundaries, healing, space, all that, because grief can look messy. And sometimes we have to put up healthy boundaries. Because like I say, having friends that have went through the same thing as me, I always want to make sure we're not trauma bonding. I don't want to just be sitting in my mess talking to my girl like she's missing her baby daddy and she talking about hers and then I'm talking about mine, and all we doing is just crying on the phone every day talking about baby daddies. I'm not going to do that with you. I'm not going to trauma bond with you. So for me, I make sure that I give my peoples a chance to vent, but I don't let them drag me in it with them.
Yeah.
So and that's a boundary that you got to keep up when you and someone else you love are grieving.
Yeah. Michelle said another hard thing to go through is watching your parents age, knowing they won't be here much longer. Listen, I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even want to talk about that, because all I can tell you right now is my biggest fear at this point after losing Tanisha is one of my parents, my significant other, or my child.
Yeah.
My siblings, those people, those immediate people, I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about it, because I don't even know. Especially not my mom or my daddy. Period. I don't even like looking at them and thinking that. My dad always says, I got more summers behind me than I got in front of me. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Because to me, you're gonna live forever. And if not, we'll talk about it then. I don't want to talk about it right now. I don't want to talk about that right now. Nicole says, I feel like you learn how to cope. I don't know if that's the same thing as it getting easier.
You know what? You got a valid point, because it could just be coping and not it being easier. But I feel like once you cope, depending on your perception, it can feel easier. So, but I definitely, yeah. That's interesting.
D said, and I'm reading it and I'm laughing because I just went through this recently, y'all. And it was I think I talked to Shalonda about it. It was a whole thing. And I'm telling you, like, as women get older, like we start to and you're going through healing, like shit just gets deep. I'm gonna go ahead and say that, okay? So D says, this got me thinking about my hubby. He's older than me, and I think about this on a daily, that he won't be here, and it scares me. I'm 44 and he's 71. Let me tell you something, baby. My husband is 45 and I'm 37. This man is not even that older than me. And when I tell you, I had a full-fledged breakdown on this man's chest, crying, because all I could think about is one day one of us is going to pass away. We finally found my person. And one day we're not going to have that anymore. And I looked at him and I said, babe, do you think when we die, our souls will remember each other? And literally I had this full blown breakdown because I feel like we live our whole life to find our person, for that person to go. And then when you get to wherever you going on the other side, those energies, whatever it may be, for you not to even remember that person anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Like, when I tell you, I don't know what I be going through sometimes in this thought process I be having, but some of the things that I think about and the things that I hold on to now, is different. It's different at this age, and I don't know if y'all experience the same thing. I'm 37. Hey, y'all. My mind frame, my mentality, and the way I think about things now, and the way I view life is just a little bit different now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cause baby, I be thinking about losing my husband too, and baby, I don't know.
You
Just put
so
me on
silly.
top of. Just put me on top of them. Very well. We gonna get burnt up. We gonna get burnt up together. I don't know.
I'm
they
not
gonna
about to play with you,
they
Ashley.
gonna burn us up together. Put us in the same urn. Set us on somebody's ship. I don't know.
I'm not about to play with you. I'm gonna throw you back in the ocean.
We'll throw us both in the ocean so we can go together. Okay. I don't want to have to do it without him. So. My mom says, I hate calling Ashley, Bree, Deshawn, or any of them because they are hurt too. I don't know where
Yeah.
to turn. You can always call me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know I've always been the strong one. You know what I mean? And so for me, like, I'm here. I don't know. You can cry.
And Gwen,
Calm me.
you can always call me because if you just don't want to bother them, you can bother me. Either way it go, we family. We here.
Dude, stop saying that before I start crying again, girl.
What?
She talking about, I think about it daily. I know I should be enjoying him, but I don't want to let him go. Girl, I don't want to talk about it no more. Let's move to the next subject. We
Yeah.
off with that. Let's talk about something else. How was everybody's week? Because baby, I don't want to go without mine neither.
Yeah. Yeah. As a person who feels like I already lost my soulmate, I mean, regardless of what we had going on in life, because he was a hoop. If you knew him, you knew he was something else. He had a lot of kids. He did a lot. He lived his life to the fullest. And the crazy
A
thing is, he
lot of
used to always,
kids.
yeah, he used to always tell me like, we're soulmates. He's like, I don't care. I'm gonna always come find you in this lifetime, in the next lifetime, in the next lifetime. And the crazy thing is, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. What holds me together is I really don't feel like he's gone. Now he's not here physically, but I still hear his voice. I can still feel his kisses. And then the crazier part is being a little transparent, and this might sound a little creepy to y'all, depending on your belief system, but my youngest son, Prince, came to me the other day. And we were having a conversation and just normally talking, and Prince always will randomly just say the wildest, most outlandish stuff. But he was like, it's me, I'm back. And I was like, what? He was like, I found a portal and I just came back. So I'm like, what are you talking about? And he was like, it's me, Damien. And the scary part is, depending on what you believe in, I feel like, I feel like this man is still around, and I see him and hear him so much through my sons. A piece of me is like, could that actually be, could that be true? Like, could reincarnation be real? It really shapes the way that I look at transitioning and how I look at that. And I feel like that's the only thing that keeps me okay when it comes to the whole thing I've been through, because little things that happen to me, I don't care. You could pay me all the money in the world, but that man is not gone. He's still around. He's still around.
I think that's the part that I just don't understand. I don't think any of us can really explain what happens after. None of us can. I don't think. Not think.
None of us know.
None of us can explain what happens after death. And I think that's the part right now that I struggle with the most. Is because we are living a life to eventually be gone.
Transition, yeah.
And don't nobody know what's gonna happen afterwards. Like, I don't even understand, like, what is it for? You know, like I think I'm at a part in life right now thinking about like Tanisha being gone. And I'm telling you, like this Tanisha being gone is really, really my mind and the way I think about things and the way I'm trying to understand life right now is just I don't understand it. I don't
Yeah.
understand a lot of different things because why what is this about? Like
Yeah.
what is this
Yeah.
about? Like, you
It
know,
gets
you,
like
you
that.
search your whole life to find the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, because that's what they feed you. Princes and princesses and stuff like that growing up, like finding your mate. Everybody has this longing desire to find that person that they want to live their life with. And you know what I mean? And if you want to live your life single, fine, then you still want those relationships and friendships and other people around you because we were made for relationship. So
Yeah.
we were made for relationship to eventually have to go and nobody knows. Like I said, are you even going to remember these people? If there is
Yeah.
another lifetime, if that's the case, are you even going to remember these people in the next lifetime? So, you know, I think about like, you know, this can go really deep. So I'm just going to cut that off
Yeah.
there. This can go really, really deep. And so I'm going to leave that alone. I am going to leave
Yeah.
that alone.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that
Yeah.
alone.
All this stuff all this stuff can get deep, man. It is crazy. It's crazy on one hand, but it's I don't know, once you really dig into it and start talking about it, it's amazing to me because, you know, all this stuff depends on, like I say, perception. Everybody's perception about loss and grief is different. Some people bounce back a little faster, and some people sit in a little longer. It just depends on how you look at it.
My mom
Yeah.
said, and I'm going to read this because and then I'm going to say, okay, my mom said, I heard Tanisha say, good morning, Aunt Gwenny. If I didn't hear her, she'd wake up. She'd walk to my door and say it again. And she did. I got up. She wasn't there, but I swear I heard her. But she did say she was going to haunt us. So let me tell you guys something that happened to me probably about maybe 3, 4 weeks ago. I was standing in my kitchen and first of all, let's start here. Since Tanisha passed away, since the day Tanisha passed away, there was a red bird, a cardinal, sitting outside of the hospice house. That red cardinal was in my mom's backyard the whole time we were doing her funeral planning and everything else. She sat in that backyard watching us on that fence. Okay. My mom's bathroom light started flickering the same time Tanisha passed away. I'm big on energy. Okay. My dining room light has been flickering since I've been home, or my bathroom light, depending on where I'm at in the house. Okay. My lights don't flicker. I was standing in the kitchen. It had to be like 3, 4 weeks ago. Me and Lloyd were talking, and I kid you not, she yelled my name so loud that it was like my ears started ringing and I felt her grab me at the same time. And it
Wow.
scared me so bad, Lloyd. It took my breath away. Like, and Lloyd was like, are you okay? And I was like, babe, Tanisha, she's here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so for me, like what you say about Big Damien, I feel that because I know she's not gone. She's not
Yeah.
gone. And that her saying that she's gonna haunt us, I need you to understand she's a I'm trying to tell you, like I already know I know her. She thinks she's funny. Everything's a
Yeah.
game. You know what I mean? And
Tanisha
so
had the best sense of humor. The best sense of humor. Oh man, you
um,
know the craziest thing I gotta say this because it just I watched this video so many times. I watched that video of us playing cards over and over and over. And I got a video in my phone, I think that Takia took, and it was Tanisha and Bree in the kitchen. And all you see Tanisha just sitting there, yeah. I'm just like, I'm like, that's her. And that's the her that I will always remember.
yeah, you know what's
Yeah.
crazy is when she was passing, she went one thing I can say about her, she went to her grave talking shit. I don't care what nobody says.
That
I
I
know
know.
she was talking crazy to me one day. This girl knew she couldn't get up and walk. She couldn't do none of that. She was bedbound, okay? When she was passing away, she could not do anything on her own. And I told her, she was staring at me. I said, what you looking at? And she said, what? And I said, well, get up and fight me then. This little girl, and I'm telling you, she was so skinny, she was so frail, kicked them little skinny ass legs out the side of the bed and sat up. And I said, well, ain't nothing but a short walk. Come on over here. And she got out that bed to come fight me. knowing she was trying to get out the bed. She didn't get out the bed, knowing she couldn't get up out that bed, but she was so feisty and just so crazy, even past, like, she really thought she could whoop me still. And she ain't never been able to whoop me, okay?
She gonna
But
come
she's
get you
warping
now.
down. Yeah, she's warping down. She can whoop me, though.
Oh, yeah. All this stuff. It's crazy. I don't even know what to say. I think this kind of has me like a
It's a
little
lot.
speechless. Yeah, it is.
It's a lot. I think we just need a moment of silence. We're going to take a
Yeah.
moment of silence for everybody who's out here grieving. Just a moment. Everybody bow your heads. A moment of silence.
Yeah.
You at home right now. We're going to breathe through it together, y'all.
All right, now let's bounce back. Okay.
I was just about to say, now get up. Now get up.
That's how
it's
you
time.
do that there. That's how you do that there.
Yeah, now get up.
Have your moment of silence, drop your tears, and then you go on about your business. Okay. So I see it. It's almost 8 o'clock. So you guys, we're gonna wind it down now. The conversation has been beautiful though. It's been gorgeous. It's been beautiful. I love talking to you guys. And Ashley, I appreciate you for popping on tonight because I don't think I could have did this by myself.
You know, we don't never do no solo shows now.
Yeah. And we're gonna get on Rolo because he said he was gonna be late.
It's fine.
He didn't.
It's fine. Hey, you know, grief is a hard subject for some people. You know, it's a hard topic. I knew that this is something that I needed to do because I've been telling you since Nisha passed away and we were talking about doing grief in the beginning. I needed to. So as soon as I seen that you dropped grief, I said I need to be on there. I had every intention on being on here this week anyway. So I did want to be on here for this show to make sure that I was here because I needed the healing. I needed to be able to get on here and talk to you and with you and our viewers. To see who might be going through some of the same things.
This is our family, man. I don't even look at everybody. It's just you guys are family. Like these conversations are so important. And they mean so much to me that you guys actually interact. Like I appreciate all of that. I really do. I appreciate all of you, every last single one of you. I really do. Oh, they're just trickling in.
Well, I appreciate you having me, Shay.
Yes. So is there any closing statement that you want to make to everybody, or do you want to be the one to take us home since you always
Oh my
do it
God,
so
I
well?
do have to read this before we get off of here. Michelle says Rolo lost his charging cord. Anybody who knows Rolo knows his phone is always dead, okay?
Always dead.
Always dead. Yeah, so I do want to say thank you to all of our viewers tonight, everybody who hopped on, all the comments and love tonight. Thank you guys for sharing us out, everybody that shared this live out. If you didn't share the live out, you can still go do that. If you didn't get to watch the whole thing, it's okay. You can go rewatch it on the Heighten and Enlighten page, on Shalonda's page, or on YouTube. If you know people who don't have Facebook, you can always go to the Heighten and Enlightened YouTube page and share it out to them so that they're able to watch it that way. Next week, what's next week's topic, honey?
Oh, next week, I'm sorry, I forgot. Love you too, Gwen. I just seen her comment. Next week, we're going to be talking about dysfunctional family dynamics.
Oh.
Dysfunctional family dynamics. And while we're talking about that, just try to not feel attacked. Because if the shoe fits, just wear it and bounce
Lace
back.
it up.
Okay?
Lace it up. Put it on.
That's it. Yes. Okay? So that's what we're talking about next.
Next week, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sunday, Heighten and Enlighten will be back on live. So make sure you're here. Make sure you share it out to your friends and let them know to tap in. If you guys haven't liked us on TikTok, make sure you run over there and like and share our TikTok. YouTube, make sure that you go subscribe, hit that bell so that you get notifications when we are live. Okay, so you don't miss an episode. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And until next week, happy healing.
Happy healing. Good night.